The Weekend Breakfast Show, 7 a.m. till 10 a.m. Saturday and Sunday with DJ Foz on Dorset's Riviera Radio.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And it's live.
This is Leicester Till I Die TV. Watch and subscribe on YouTube and listen on your podcast platform.
Yes, like an old stinky pair of underpants, we're back. How are you doing, Clibbo?
I'm all right. I've assumed my natural position on my bed with a computer on.
Have you got your phone handy?
Yeah.
Hi, Bill. How you doing? Nice to see you in. He's already got in with a 3-1 win to Preston. Like the confidence. I'm really... We're just talking off screen before. I'm really, really nervous.
Yeah, extremely nervous. I mean, I did a little bit of genning up prior to coming on the show, just a little bit of, tactics and things like that. And all the things that Preston are bad at, we should be able to exploit. But all the things that they're good at, we're easy to be exploited. So,
yeah. Well, fingers crossed, eh? Fingers crossed. I mean, they've kind of fallen into their normal sort of mid-table mediocrity, and that's not as a slur on them at all. But it's face it, what would we give for that right now? But it's what they do year in, year out, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And I mean, I think as a Preston fan, and no disrespect to them because they're not been high flyers over recent times, but they're probably happy to be where they are. You don't get extra money per position, I believe, in the Championship like you do in the Premiership.
I thought you did.
No, I don't think you do. I was listening to something the other day, somebody talking about that. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure that's the case. If I'm wrong, somebody correct me. But financially, they're all right. They're stable in that division. You know what you're going to get with Preston. Yeah. Unfortunately, they can still make the playoffs if they go on a run. So it's not like, that if they've got any ambition to do so, we could be in bother.
I mean, they're in 13th place. This is one of those weird moments here. They're in 13th place. They've won 13, drawn 13, and lost 13. Let's hope 13's unlucky for them. But they got 52 points. They won. I think they won the last game, but they lost the 4 before that. Or it could be the other way around. I'm not sure. But they're on 52 points. Southampton in 6th, which is the last, obviously, at the moment, is the last playoff place, are on 63. So they're 11 points off with, 7 games still to go. So, like you say, it's not out the realms of possibility. But
no, I mean, if you look at their form, it's lost 4 of the last 5, but their last game was a 3-1 to Stoke. So, that could be the start. That's just when you don't want to be winning, isn't it? Just before playing us.
Yeah. Oh no, totally, totally. Look, we are the club that keep on giving,
Yes.
and it's a double header. We're going to concentrate on this game because this is the first one up, and we will touch on Sheffield Wednesday later on, just at the end. But I want to concentrate on Preston. But like I say, it is a double header. We are playing Friday, and we're playing Monday. Um, I've said I think anything less than 6 points, and we are buggered. We're probably doomed.
I absolutely agree with you, Chris. And the thing is, technically speaking, that's not the case. But
No.
I think for more reasons than just getting points on the board, the two wins in succession,
Yeah.
it's getting out of that bottom three quickly and establishing yourself, and stamping your authority over the bottom clubs, because this is where psychology really takes hold. And I think over the last couple of seasons anyway, we've been very frail in that department.
We have, and the problem is that other teams have started to just pick up a few points. Or you could argue, oops, we have as well. But especially when you look at the second of these games, who's not looking at going to Sheffield Wednesday thinking we're going to come away with 3 points? Most fans, and you've got to say, I understand why, but most fans will be. But this is Leicester City,
And the law of averages says, they're gonna pick up a win between now and the end of the season, which I think they will. And there's always a danger of going there and subconsciously thinking you've won the game. I mean, I don't think that the lads will get on the bus and think, well, we've won this game, we'll just show up. But subconsciously, it's like the difference sometimes. You can play a game against a team on your own pitch and then go to a cup final and play them at Wembley. There's a different edge, isn't there? You subconsciously play better or harder in those more important matches. And I'm telling you now, they'll want to scalp us, much like Preston North End will want to scalp us.
No, indeed. We, from their point of view, they'll be looking at us and thinking this could be 3 easy points for us.
I'm not sure that they'll think it's 3 easy points. I think what I do think is that they, and rightly so, they should go into this game with a high degree of confidence. Because, like I said at the top of the show, looking at their style and their system, if we get it wrong and we push the fullbacks up too far, so that that we're exposed, we could be in for a torrid time against their system. Because I believe they play a 3-5-2.
Well, we can quite possibly find that out, or somebody will look at that for us. But look, it was, I think, the second game of the season when we played them. When I looked at the start of the season and thinking we hadn't really got that bad a start, when I looked at the teams that we were playing, but then suddenly, along come Preston, and they do us. I mean, it was 2-1. Do you remember the game?
I do, yes. I was at Doncaster Races. I was at Doncaster Racecourse working on that day, and I wanted to go to that game, but I couldn't. And I had it on the radio, and I was furious, absolutely furious. I remember it very well.
I'm just seeing here the lineup for Preston North End. No, it's no, they haven't even got it up, so I don't know. I mean, now Jeremy Monga scored. Do you remember him?
I do, yeah. I remember that goal very well, and I remember being very excited at the prospect of him having a run in the team. But I think the thing is with Monga, I still believe that we're playing him in the wrong position. And I mean, he went away with England and played number 10, didn't he? And he was showing his magic here and there.
I'm gonna probably upset a few people here, but I was having this chat with a mate of mine about Monga, and I said we have absolutely, as things stand at the moment, we've ruined that guy.
Yeah, I said it. I said it as well. Me and Reese were chatting about this amongst ourselves, and we both said it. And I know there seems to be this thing about protecting youngsters, and I kind of understand it. You know, at 16, most people, you know, they're still relatively, they're like they're children, aren't they? By by law, they're still children. So I get it, but it's a different set of circumstances. He looks quite mature for his age. Physically, he's quite mature for his age. He wants to play. He wants to learn. The only reason I think that we're not playing these players more regularly is because I think the plan is to use them in the future and to try not to scar them with what's going on at the club on and off the pitch at the moment. But I think there's an argument to say that if you played them all in the situation that we're in, where we're losing games regularly and the crowd are not particularly on board all the time, it might ruin them. There is a case to be said for that. But however, I still think Monga, in terms of talent, is one of the best that we've got at the club. He's proved that. Played in the Premier League, didn't look out of place. And I do think the development of him, we've gone back a little bit. I mean, he might as well have gone back to the 21s to be playing regularly than sitting on bench warming.
I can say I really, really, really think that we have just, for me, we've ruined him. And I think if we do go down, and even if we stay up, the vultures will be hovering. And I tell you what, I don't think they'll be queuing up to buy the likes of Winks or Skip on their wages. They'll be looking at buying, or Vestergaard, they'll be looking at buying the likes of Monga, Page, Silko Thomas, and all of those sort of guys.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, I think pretty much every game now you've got scouts from all over, haven't you, having a look at these players regularly, you know, before they make bids, they do their due diligence. And I think maybe that's another reason is it's sort of protecting your asset. I don't know. But for me, when you've got a player like that can orchestrate things, given, you know, the right position, put him. Yeah. I still don't understand why we haven't played him in a 10. I mean, I've heard arguments to say he's not big enough. He's not. Listen, you got feet like that. You don't need to be big.
No. Do you remember Peter Beardsley? I don't remember him being 7'10". Do you?
One of my favourite all-time players, Peter Beardsley. I thought. I mean,
he was a brilliant foil, wasn't he, for Gary Lineker?
Oh, tremendous. Absolutely tremendous. And I mean, you know, there's another one I've spoke to Reese about, but he's obviously too young to remember. But
yeah,
Reese will go back and look. He likes his football history. But the thing is about Beardsley, he was a clever footballer. He had all the attributes. He was never a pretty footballer, but he could do, and literally, he could do what was needed at the right times.
Yeah.
And to have somebody like that. But then again, you know, a lot of the systems these days, you couldn't have a Peter Beardsley.
No, that's true. But look, just going back to this Preston game here, it was the second game of the season. We'd won the opening game. We'd lost against Preston. We won the next two. And then we went on a 4-match drawing spree. Now, I can remember, you know, so we beat Sheffield Wednesday just, lost to Preston, we beat Charlton and Birmingham, then we drew with Oxford, Coventry, which looking back at it wasn't a bad result, West Brom and Wrexham, before beating Swansea and drawing with Portsmouth. So those first 10 games, we'd only lost one, and yet the fans, I've got to say, a lot of them were already moaning. You know, I can remember them going, "Oh, for bloody hell, four draws on the chop." Trot, what the hell are we doing? I tell you what, we'd bite your knackers off now to get 4 draws, wouldn't we?
Well,
Oh, you need
I think
wins.
after the first 10 games, I wasn't super impressed, if I'm honest, but I was realistic enough to know that obviously when you come down from the Prem, there's an element of adjustment that has to happen. It's rare that that we have seasons like we did under Enzo, where you just you fly. There's an adjustment. There's a reality check. There's obviously different players that need bedding in. You've sold some of your assets and that kind of thing. So after 10 games, I think I was relatively okay. But I just, from then on in, it never really ignited, did it? It was so patchy.
No, then we lost 3, Hull, Millwall, and Blackburn. Then we drew. Then we won 2. Then we lost 2. Then when we won 2 and drew 1, then we lost 2. Like you said, it's very, very patchy. But at that point, when we were actually after 10 games, well, after 9 games, we were actually sat in 3rd place. I mean, the heady heights.
Right.
Now we're 3rd from bottom, but. Let's face it, unfortunately, some fans are never happy. I want to take you back, and I don't know how well you can see this screen, but I will read it out to you anyway. This was the team that we put out when we played them last time. So we have Stolarczyk in goal. We still had Justin, Akoli, Vestergaard, and we still had Thomas. That was the back 4. 2 in the middle were Winks and Sumari. Fatawu, El Kanous, and Mavididi, and your favourite player up front, Ayew. Now, I reckon we're going to see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I reckon we'll see 7 of that 11 starting against Preston.
3, let me have a look. 4, 5, 6, 7. Hang on a minute. So you've got.
Well, yeah, there's Stolarczyk in goal.
Yeah. Thomas.
Possibly Akoli, because he played.
I think Akoli.
Yeah, and Thomas at left back.
Yeah.
Winks in the midfield. I think he'll start with Fatawu and Mavididi. And I am really sorry. You're going to hate me. But I think he'll start with Ayew up front.
I really don't. I genuinely don't.
Yeah,
I can't see it.
I don't think know whether Daka's back or not, but if he is, he's only just.
I think he's back today or tomorrow morning.
Right. Will he be fit enough and ready enough to play a game on Friday?
I don't see why not. I really don't see why not. I mean, I was listening to Rowett's interview, and he was making no excuses about it, to be honest with you. He was at the press conference. He was making no excuses, and it's the same for a lot of teams. But if you think about it, Ayew's been playing international football, and he's a lot older. But
it's the time difference, isn't it? I think what he was saying. Look, to me, even with the time, I'm sorry. Do these players fly back economy? Probably not. Probably not. Now, I can say this because when I flew back from Australia a couple of years ago, and I went from Brisbane to Perth in economy, and then from Perth to London, I went business class. I treated myself. I paid up for an upgrade. Now, I'm sorry, I have slept in worse hotels. Business class, it goes down flat. You got a bloody seat that massages you wherever you sat, up or down. It'll massage you for you. There's no excuse for being tired when you get off that bloody flight and that's not first class. That's just business class. To me, I'm sorry, there's no excuse about you being tired or jet lagged at all because you can. It's like I say, it's like a hotel room.
Yeah, and it's not like it's the start of the season, pre-season. It's, you're well into it now, and your engine should be, on its peaks. So,
I
ready
don't
for the
want
wind
Ayew
down.
to start, but I have a feeling he will.
I can't see how it would benefit, because if you've got 5 at the back, when they're defending, they'll have 5 at the back. You need somebody with pace, and you need somebody who's going to cause confusion to unlock that. Now, I'm not saying that Daka is definitely going to score or create that mayhem, but the chances of it happening are a lot more than if Ayew plays. But listen, Ayew goes missing. He doesn't even play in the box when the wingers have got the ball. He's nowhere to be seen. I mean, I think the cameraman, if you're trying to play a cam him, you'd be like, where the hell's he gone?
I'm just looked now. Yeah, you say Preston beat Stoke City 3-1 last time out, and Preston actually played a 3-1-4-2.
Which they do occasionally, apparently. But I think... Well, if they play that against us, I mean...
Stoke played 4-2-3-1.
Yeah. Yeah, but, I know. Which is worrying. I mean, I haven't seen the goals, but I would imagine that they were probably quite long ball based, because they're not possession based team. You know, if they score first, they'll make it very, very difficult for us to break them down, and that's why I think Ayew is not really the man to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking here at that graphic there. The substitutes that came on: Faze came on for Thomas. Why? Chowdhury came on for Justin. Monga for Mavididi. Daka for El Kanous. McAteer for Fatawu. All right, McAteer has gone. Faze has gone. Samare, who started there, has gone. Vestergaard's injured. But the actual basis of the squad is what we had there. And I wonder
it is. It is, but like there's a lot of some of those players that are not there. Like if you had now, and they were playing to the standard that they're playing now. I mean, I think Fass is doing all right. El Kanous is doing pretty well. I don't know about Samare. I don't know about him. But playing at their best, makes a difference to their team. It makes a difference to our team right now.
I think we also have to consider, though, when we say, well, Faze is playing well, he's playing in no disrespect, in a lesser league, really, isn't he?
Well, it's better than this league. That's a fact.
Well, all right, but normally it wouldn't. I mean, for years everybody said like the Championship is as good as the French, and I mean, well, it's like with any country. Once you get past the first 3 or 4 top teams, then it's all pretty much of a muchness. It's like Daka was a goal machine when he was playing in Austria. He couldn't score in the proverbial brothel now. So I am looking at that and thinking that's who we played last time, how we played last time. It just doesn't fill me with any form of confidence whatsoever. And if we look at the stats from that game as well, now, we lost this 2-1 this game, and yet we had the majority of possession, but even then, their XG was it was double and a little bit more over what we were. But they had 14 shots, the same as us. And again, this is still our problem. 14 shots, only 2 on target.
Well, yeah, I mean, the thing is, you would expect us, with the midfield that we've got, to be having more shots on target in general. But I would expect us to be having more on target against Preston. You'd have to expect that, because I mean, I'm hearing that JJ's being assessed today. Yeah. So do you risk him? I think if he's fit and it's just a knock, I think you've got to. but I would like to see him back in his old position where
I mean,
he causes the damage.
definitely. I mean, thank God. I mean, I didn't want Wales to qualify anyway. I'm not one of those that say, well, they're part of the United Kingdom. No, I hate Wales. I hate Scotland and all that when it comes to football. And I've got to say, a big condolences to Italy. Wasn't that a shame?
Isn't that something like the last three that have not qualified for?
They're the only team that have won the World Cup that have failed to qualify for three in a row.
Yeah,
I left out when it was 1-0 to Italy, and I thought, yeah, I'll go to bed. And I couldn't believe when I woke up this morning.
Yeah, I've got no qualms about them not qualifying. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan at all. I think they've got a bit of a history of, let's say, can we say allegedly?
I always used to say about Italy, though, that if the Italian army's defensive structure was as good as the football team, they might have actually done better in the war. But hey, there we go. we had 35 touches in their box to our 22. It's even when we seemed to be dominating games back then, we weren't making it count, and I'm struggling to see anything different from then to now. Like I say, same players, same excuses. While we've got Daka and Ayew up front, we're not going to have shots on target, are we?
No, but I think dominating when you're looking at stats is very subjective because it's like watching a boxing match that's very close. If one's being defensively brilliant, you score them for that, or another judge will or score on, how good they look, and stuff like that. So looking at stats, are we dominating a game just because we have possession? I would suggest not. The amount of times it's pissed around with at the back. If they've got more, if they've got more shots on target, I would say that's probably something that you could say, well, they dominated. To me, we dominate the possession of the football, but we don't. The economy of it is rubbish. We don't do anything. We just rev the engine and don't go anywhere.
Yeah. I mean, look, this is the table. Rowett has come in and he stuck his flags firmly to the mast. He's sticking with 4-2-3-1. I know Tom told me that, he's all right, Rowett. He tries a few different types of formations. Does he? I've not seen it. Look, it's the 40th game on Friday. We are not. I don't think we are. It's too late for him to start trying different formations now, isn't it? Anyway,
I think it is now. I would have liked to have seen it when he came in, but then again, like you say, you're a manager, you go into a job, you quickly assess what you've got around you, and do you restructure? Do you go, right, this is where I think you're going to do best? Do you do that, or do you go, right, let's not upset the apple cart. Let's do 6 months and then let's see where we are with it. And I think he's probably gone in, assessed, and gone, I've got too much to do to make wholesale changes. I would be inclined to think that that's probably more the case.
Yeah, no, I would agree. Scott says, has anything been said about Sutar? Look, I think with Sutar, but for me, even if he is able to sort of be fit, or be ready to play in the next couple of weeks, there's a difference between being ready and being match fit. I don't think we will see Sutar for any time this season.
I don't. I think he's played a game today.
I see. Right.
Yeah, I think he's played. I know he played at least one half of a game. It was in Rowett's press conference.
Right.
Which would have been today, wouldn't it? Yeah. So I know, obviously, they've organised a sort of behind-the-scenes game. But
can you imagine if Rowett was to play him, and I think we got Lascelles and Coley and Nelson, we got basically those two from. It's only two of those three. But if he was to put Suter in, and Suter made a howler because he was what I like to call ring rusty, the guy would get roasted for it. And I just think
No,
it's too. For me, it's too much of a dangerous situation to risk that.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, you've also got to think of the guy's long term or short to medium term future. I'd like to keep him around, actually.
I would.
At this level. I tell you what, I would like. I'd like him to be on the bench if he's kind of reasonably fit, because I've seen him score some pretty good-headed goals for Australia.
Yes.
And if you're scrambling around and you're 1-0 down and you need somebody who can head a ball, I would gamble with him up front. And I know people will go, "Oh, you're harping back."
Oh no, I actually agree with you, because look, we did it with Steve Walsh, we did it with Matt Elliott, and this to me, this is one of those things where why the fuck did we buy him? You know, we bought a player that then just never played.
Yeah, it's a bit of a strange one.
This is why I always say, whether it's a manager or a head coach, whatever you want to give the guy, call the guy, he should have the final say on players, because he's got to be the guy that picks them.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, as long as I think there's got to be an agreement of the style that you want and things like that. But ultimately, yeah, because how many times a player's gone into, signed a contract with it, and the manager sort of looks a bit bemused by it at a press conference, and then they don't get played, and I don't think that's not good for anyone, is it?
It's not, and it's wasting money. Look at Edward, 90 grand a week, and what does he even look like? But
do you know the worst thing about that is we were paying him 90 grand a week. He was on 120 grand a week, I believe. Yeah,
but I can't say he was a rubbish player because we never bloody saw him.
I followed him in Scotland when he was playing for Celtic.
Yeah,
and I really liked him.
But
he could be a bit of a lazy sod at times.
Yeah,
but he was a good player.
No, well, I can't argue with that because, as I say, I never saw him play. But like you say, the manager has got to say, this is my plan. This is my first choice formation. Maybe this is my backup formation. So these are the players that I want, whether it's a wing back or a left back or a midfielder. And he will say, go and, he might say, go and find me a good attacking midfielder, let's say, for example. I've got a couple here that I'm quite interested in. And you would then hope that the recruitment team would go off and go, right, we've had a look at those two that you recommended. One of them, no, he's just not for us, and he's way out of our price range anyway. The other one's interesting, and I've got another couple here for you to look at. And then the manager will go away and read the reports and what have you. But the final say has to be the manager. Otherwise, why are we paying wages to people that we never bloody see?
Yeah, it's a little bit like creating jobs for the boys at times, isn't it? And
Carranza, there's another one, Carranza.
Yeah, that was a bizarre signing. Bizarre.
Well, I mean, what's he called? Apuko, who's at Newport. What the hell was that? He's never played one game in anger for us.
Well, the golden one is the one that constantly bemuses me, because with him being such a, I mean, he's quite a high profile signing, really, isn't he? He's become this sort of mystery, and you think even playing at the sort of 21s or 23s or whatever, you would hear about him, but you don't. You don't hear anything about him. Golding,
yeah. I mean, I mean that. that has dodgy dealing written all over it, doesn't it? You know, I mean, Chelsea.
Yeah, but I
Chelsea.
don't see how it benefits us. How does it benefit us?
Well, we got 30 million, didn't we, for
Yeah,
Dewsbury Hall over a 6 year, so that was 5 million a year. By taking Golding for 5 million, that meant the first year, basically, they had Kieran Dewsbury Hall on a free. Then they
yeah,
sold him on to Everton. So I don't think they actually probably had to pay us any. I don't know how it works, but I mean it was all to do in that mix. I don't get it at all. But look, going into this match, and this is really small, so I will read these out to you. The team form: Leicester in the last 5 games, we've lost 2. That's Norwich and QPR. We've won 1, which was Bristol, and we've drawn Ipswich and Watford. Now, as we said, Preston, they beat Stoke, but before that, they lost to Norwich 2-0. They lost 3-0 to Coventry, 3-1 to Oxford United, and 2-0 to Millwall.
yeah.
So they played some decent teams, but then some, like Oxford, maybe they felt they should have beaten them. Again, when you look at that, I'm not saying they're there for the taking, but they are. What's what I'm looking for? I don't think it's a game we could get 3 points from.
Yeah, they are defensively shaky. That's something that I picked up on, and they're not heavy scorers, but what they are good at is being physically strong, set pieces, and they're 2 things that we are lacking. I don't think we're good at taking set pieces. I don't think we're good at defending set pieces. And often with set pieces, it's who's more physical, who's prepared to jump higher, prepared to take a boot in the face. And I think our players look physically weaker quite often than a lot of the Championship stalwart teams do.
Yes.
Which could be a problem, a big problem for us.
Definitely. Now, comparing the 2 teams as we go along here, this is courtesy of SofaScore. Now, they've got our average score rating of 6.73, Preston 6.80. So there's not a lot of difference between us there. But as you said, we've scored 51. They've only scored 45. So not a huge difference. But on the goals conceded, they're 49, we're 60. That, at one point, I said the thing that would probably do us well is the fact that we weren't conceding. Yeah, the goal difference. But wow, that's literally gone out the window, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, that's actually shocked me a little bit, to be honest with you. I'm a bit dumbfounded. But just looking at, there's a comment there by Ben. My only concern is this feels very similar to QPR. Well, what I will say is, when I was doing my little bit of research before the show, that is exactly what came to mind to me. This, because looking at the style, looking at how QPR did us, is exactly how I see Preston potentially doing us. So yeah, I'm with you on that, Ben. Completely see it as similar to QPR. On the flip side of that is, we absolutely, in terms of possession, and we played a lot better. We're a better team than QPR, let's say. If we'd have just got our shit together on that day, we would have beat them. So there is that side of it as well. But there is that very slippy bit of ice that we could be standing on if we're not careful, in the same way that QPR done us.
Definitely. I mean, I say it's that bad. I hope you can't hear my fan, by the way. But, I mean, yes, we're on -9, but Oxford are on -15, Portsmouth are on -17, West Brom -14, and Blackburn on -13. So it's still better than there, but I don't feel as sort of confident on that as I was earlier in the season. But if we look at attacking wise, I mean, goals per game, we're 1.3, they're only 1.2. Shots on target per game, 3.7. They're 3.5. Big chances, 1.8 versus 1.6 to them. And 1.6 were both the same. Sorry. Big chances missed, 1.0 and 0.9. So when you look at that for attacking, very, very similar. Not a piece of toilet paper between us, if you like.
Yeah. Well, since we did the predictions, me, you, and Reese, I've looked over them again and again, and my mind keeps changing. But I do believe I said this one would be a draw.
Oh, I don't know if I've still got them actually.
Yeah. Well, that's my current thinking. That's for sure.
No, I don't think. Damn, that would have been great to have brought that up actually. No, I think I put it in file 13. Destroying
the evidence.
Yeah, I don't think everybody knows has got a file 13.
Yes.
Keep it here? Hang on. No, I thought it. Oh, hang on, what? Oh!
You've got them.
I've got them. I have them here. You had this one for Leicester, which would have been match number. This was the second match that we did. Was it the week before last we did it, didn't we?
Oh, I don't know. Every day drifts into one.
Hang on, there's 7 games to go after this, isn't there?
I think. No, there's 7. Isn't there 7 now? There's 7 now.
It's 7 now. No, because we're on 13 now. Yeah, you're right. So, yeah, you Clibbo. So that would be, but it's 46 games, isn't it?
Well, actually, I think I predicted Leicester win here.
40. Yeah, because so you actually predicted a win. Reese went for the draw. I went for the win as well. God, we're stupid, aren't we?
Well, I've changed my mind.
You can't. No. I have it written down. Look, it's there.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, my mind is telling me now. All right, that's my heart.
Yes.
My head is telling me this has a 1-1 draw written all over it.
Well, you also predicted Leicester to stay up in 21st.
I think if you'd have said to me, do you think Leicester will stay up? My answer is no, and it's just that it was that kind of weird
thing, isn't it?
It was just weird that came out that I inadvertently predicted Leicester to stay up, but I still don't think we'll stay up, and I'm not backtracking on this.
Well, no, we both said at the time that we both said no would send us down, but it was a Brexit sort of 48-52 sort of thing.
Yeah.
But I'd got Leicester finishing in 20th. I don't know what I was on that day, but I wish I could find it. But yeah, that's yeah.
I think we'll know more after this weekend. I think.
Yes, we will.
I think any. Yes, it's still possible with 4 points, but to me, like I said at the beginning, psychologically we're very, very shaky, and I think to get 2 wins on the bounce, get us out of that zone, and that's a psychological boost going into the last 5 games.
Yes, yeah. I mean, clean sheets here. We've got 5. They've got 9. Goals conceded per game, 1.5 for us, 1.3 for them. Interceptions per game, 8.4 for us, 8.6 for them. Tackles, pretty much the same as well. Clearances per game, nothing in it. Penalties conceded, 1 for us, 2 for them. Saves per game, 2.8 for us, 2.9 for them. I have not seen any stats this season where this has got, like you said, this has got a draw written all over this.
Yeah.
It really. Michael's gone 1-1 there.
Yeah.
I can only see it ending that way. And I know I've gone for 3 like you did, but there is nothing at any of those. So we looked at the passing, we looked at the attacking, we looked at everything we've looked at. In a condensed way. There's a lot more stats than that, obviously, out there. But I can't believe how close we are to each other.
There is a caveat to that, of course, and that is that if
I don't like these caveats, Clibbo.
Well, hear me out. If one of these teams is able to implement and get their game plan off from the off and dominate with their game plan, somebody will get their arses spanked. So it could be a 3-0.
Indeed. And maybe we're due one of those. Who knows? But
we've had enough of this, so yeah.
Yeah. We've also, though, still got to look at games around us. We've been very lucky up until the last game, I think. Or the game before last. We've been very lucky that when we failed to get a win, or we've only got a draw, teams around us haven't really taken advantage of that. No. So we do really have to look at other games. So these are the games that affect teams around us this weekend. And I have to say, I'm going to regret saying this, but I've left Charlton out of it now, because I think Charlton are pretty much going to be safe.
I think so.
Yeah. So it's 4 teams, two out of 4 for me. And I haven't put Blackburn up there for some reason, so I don't know why. I obviously don't like Blackburn, do I? But we've got Preston, which is probably the easier game. I mean, looking at them, I would say it's a home win for Norwich, an away win for Hull, and possibly a draw for West Brom and Wrexham. What would you say for those 3? I know we've done it before, but what do you think that those 3 would go?
I think I'm going to say Norwich beat Portsmouth.
They are in Freeport, aren't they, Portsmouth, at the moment?
They are. I don't want to tempt fate. The interest. The next 2 games will be very interesting. I can see them both being a draw, or I could see potentially West Brom beating Wrexham and the Oxford Hull one being a draw. I think West Brom are not. I think they're going to get out of this with a little bit more comfort than we predicted.
I can see West Brom being the one that gets out of it. Blackburn, I do apologise. Blackburn are away at Birmingham.
You see, that's another tricky one, because Birmingham, I predicted Birmingham to be in the top 6 this season. I joined the hype train, didn't I? But I was at the Birmingham game down at the King Power, and I wasn't that impressed with them, to be honest with you. But they had some good results. They had some poor results. I suppose they've done all right, considering it's their first year back. Blackburn need to win. So again, it'd be hard to sort of either way. I mean, Birmingham should beat them, but Birmingham are sort of trying to get into that top 6, and West and Blackburn are trying to stay up. So it's got all the ingredients for a really tetchy match, and it could go either way. Strange results this time of the season happen.
It is. Interestingly, let me tell you what AI has predicted for these games. So it's predicted Birmingham City 2, Blackburn Rovers 1.
Yeah.
It's predicted Leicester City 2, Preston
Nil.
North End 1.
Oh, the one I went on was 2-0 to Leicester.
Norwich City 2, Portsmouth 1. Oxford 1, Hull 1, which as you said would well be a draw. But West Brom 2, Wrexham 1. Having said that, I know from past experience this particular AI that I look at gets very little right. I have to say.
Would you take that, or if that's the results that happen, would you take them? Would you take that?
Yes.
Yeah, you'd have to, wouldn't you?
You would, because I think the only one that look, West Brom 2, Wrexham 1. I wouldn't want to take that, but if that's the only win, because all our others around us have lost, then would we be out? Yeah, because Preston. Yeah, we'd go above Oxford anyway. Yeah, so we'd be out the bottom 3 with that. So
we'd go above Portsmouth as well.
Yes, we would.
You see,
yes, we would.
There is a real danger of Preston, Portsmouth, Oxford, and West Brom winning. There's a real danger of that, and that would, for me, that's it. There would be no glimmer for me if that. I mean, it's quite possible. It's not, and much stranger results have happened than what I've just said.
Yeah, and I've got to say, like last, what was I going to say then? Yeah, if we get less than 4 points out of this weekend, it's good night Vienna. So, what are you going to go for? Everybody, get your score predictions in for this. What do you see this really? I mean, you're gonna, I suppose we've all got a heart and head, haven't we? Really, prediction.
I mean, I can see it being Leicester possession heavy, and I can see Preston nicking one on the break, and as fighting and scrapping and getting a point out of it. Now, like I said, the caveat to that is if we get our game plan right, I think we're quite capable of giving these a really good tanking.
Do you think that we've got past that crumbling? If we were to go out and concede an early goal, and I was talking to a fan the other day, and he was kind of going, have you noticed how many early goals there are this season? I went, well, yeah, not just for us, but for a lot of teams. And he went, what's one of the things that people bet on the most? And he said he spoke to a friend who worked for certain. I mean, you're right. It's one of those. He's got a friend who does this, who's married to a woman who does that, and all this. But these things do go on. So you do wonder. But do you think? Let's say we concede early. Have we got past that crumbling? Has Gary Rowett got that out of us?
I think that's one of the things that he's improved. I think there's definitely we're a level up on being able to sort of cope with the immediate pressure of conceding, because there was always that sort of half in, half out when we didn't know where to go forward, we didn't know to defend, and subsequently the confusion ended up making us concede more. I think that was happening a lot under Marty. So I think he's sort of kind of got a little bit of a grip on that. If we let one, in my opinion, if we concede early, I still think we will draw in this game. If we get an early goal and stick to the game plan, and the individual errors are a little less than they have been, I could see us going on to score 2 or 3. But it's that monkey on our back, isn't it? That home form, and it does worry me.
Yes.
And they'll know that. they'll know that, and they'll play on. They'll play into it.
Yeah. Okay, then let me just see has anybody commented scores in the chat or not. Not yet. Nobody's put his scores up. If I said to you, one of these games, we've got to win at least one. We've agreed on that. We need two, but we've got to win at least one. Is it Preston at home or Sheffield Wednesday away?
If you stuck a gun to my head, I would say Preston at home, because the home form is really important. I don't think we've got a great record at Sheffield as it is. So, it wouldn't be too surprising, even though they're not won for however long. It wouldn't be too surprising if we didn't pick up a result there. I think the home form has to improve. I don't know how many home games we've got left, Chris. Do you know?
I did, but not in front of me. I think it's about 3. Well, there's 7 left. I think we've got 4 home, I think.
Yeah, so that would be the majority of the games, just over half the games playing at home. I think in order for us to really be confident of staying up, you've got to win them home games, and you've got to aim to win them home games.
No, you definitely 100% have. Okay, I can't multitask. I really can't. But right, let me finally get this up. So we've got a scrappy 1-0 from. Where are we? Let's just get these out the way now. So Craig says draw on Friday, win on Monday. Michael's got says 1-1 draw. Craig Gilbert's gone 1-1.
Yeah,
Ben
4 home games.
Scrappy win. Derek 2-1 either way. Craig's gone 1-1 draw on Friday. Scott's gone 3-1 defeat to 1. Unfortunately to Preston. If we don't get the win against Preston, my worry is that's going to put a hell of a lot of pressure on us when we come to play Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah, and what it does, I think that would create what we should be doing in an ideal situation is going to Sheffield and going, right, this team here. I mean, I like Sheffield Wednesday. I always have done. Right, Hillsborough. It's got a rich history, and I do like them, and I feel bad for them. But great teams and great competitors don't give a shit about that. They should be going there and going, right, this team are on their arse. They're going to go down probably on minus points. How embarrassing is that for them? They probably feel like shit. Let's go and make them feel even more shit and attack. Be relentless. Make them feel like they don't want to kick a football again. That's the mentality you should be having going there. But I fear if we don't win it versus Preston, you're playing with an element of caution because, Christ, we've got to win this. And I think this is why I think it's so important to get 2 back-to-back wins. So that you can create momentum and create a mentality where, right, we're just going to go and attack. Keep it tight, but when we get the opportunity, attack, and just have that we've got to win mentality. But with no fear, because there is going to come a point where if we're not picking up points, there will become a point in the season, which is not too, the end of the season's near, where you literally have to win every game. Then you're under massive amounts of pressure, and you then have to go and play like that. You can't have caution.
True. Look, I mean, Leicester, that we just said, 6.73 was our average player rating. 6.61 is Sheffield Wednesday. So although, in the last 5, they've only drawn 1. They've got 1 point from the last 5. Again, their performances aren't bad. And we are the team that keeps on giving, aren't we? And
We are.
it's got. I mean, all right, they've only scored 24 goals, but you could say, yeah, that they'll get them against us. 0.6 goals per game compared to our 1.3. 79 goals conceded, but we've conceded 60, like I say. They've actually had less clean sheets than us. Way. And their ball possession isn't as good as ours either. I hope we get the win against Preston, because that will take the weight off our shoulders. But I don't think, have we won 2 in a row all season?
Yeah, I think we have. I'm trying to think which games it was. It was around. I think it was around about the time we played in the cup. Round about the Cheltenham game. I'm sure we won a couple of games. Without having the fixtures, I'm a bit kind of. I'm a bit, but it's few and far between.
I'm just looking here. When did we? No, we won 2, Charlton and Birmingham back in August. Yeah, Norwich and Stoke in November, and it's only been the twice. It has only been the twice we've done it all season.
Yeah, Ben's just said there, Derby away, then Ipswich.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was December.
If I was to give you here and say, right, okay, what I'm going to do is this is a take it or leave it. If you take this is what you'll have. If you don't take it, you're going to have to see what you get when you play. I'm going to give you a win against Preston and a draw against Sheffield Wednesday. Would you take it?
No.
Because I was just thinking that itself, and I was thinking I might actually bite your hand off for that.
No. It's not in my nature to be like that. Listen, my kids, I wouldn't let my kids win at Tiddlywinks, mate.
I'd like that with Crazy Golf.
No. I've got the most competitive. Well, they're not kids anymore. They're fully fledged adults.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
do you know what I mean? I've always been a sports person. I've always been competitive. And I'm sorry, I don't buy into. Listen, I don't go to football to watch people draw. I go to watch my team win. And if we draw, and we've played brilliant, fine. But if we lose, it gives me the proper arse. And I'm not. I don't go to football matches thinking we might get a draw here. I go thinking, right, how can we win this? I mean, obviously the last Premier League season, it was. How can we score a goal? But I mean, that was one of the exceptional seasons, wasn't it? Where we had nothing. It was like boys versus men. But particularly in a competitive league like this, no, I still look at every team that I've seen so far this season and think, well, they're not actually better than us. They're just better organised, and they've got a better player in that position. The important position. And I'd argue the toss of anyone. This is a shit league, and all the teams in it are shit. And none of them have got a cat in hell's chance of staying in the Premier League unless they buy huge amounts of talent. The gap is so vast. So, no, I still believe that Leicester City and their management should be going into every game going, this is how we win this game, and we should win this game. I truly do. It's just something fundamentally behind the scenes. The constant change in the manager, the different styles, it's completely confused the players. It's confused the fans. It's not gelling. That's the word I'm looking for. But ultimately, we've got at least as good a squad as any in that league. So therefore, get it right. You should win.
You should. I mean, Derek has said he would take it. I think I would, to be honest with you. Like I say, 4 points. Well, obviously the risk is we get none at all, and that's what I'm balancing up about. This is Leicester. This is this season. We
But
could
that's
just
the
go.
excitement. That's the excitement. Where is their excitement? If you go, I'll take the 4 points there and run. There's no excitement in that.
I agree, but when did we last get excited about a football game? Anywhere,
Well,
not just
I have to
Leicester.
be honest. Given this situation, I am excited. I'm very nervous. I'm really nervous about this weekend because I think this will ultimately tell us a lot about potentially the future of the club, particularly in this division. But I am excited for this one, and I have to say, I've been more excited about doing these shows than I have watching the team, to be honest with you, because it's given me a chance to sort of interact with people watching and yourself. Have a whinge, take the piss out of Reese, and stuff like that.
Which is easy. No disrespect. I love Reese. But no, that's brilliant. Well, you see, I'm always a glass half empty sort of guy. Do you know what I mean? And if you gave me that now, I think I would bite your hand off. But
I know what Reese would say. I know exactly what Reese would say.
What would Reese do?
It would. His mood would change when you ask him that question. His face would change, and he would give you a more erratic version of exactly what I've just said.
I can imagine Reese. Yes, I can imagine him saying, "No, we go down fighting."
Yes,
but
yes.
That's I mean, everybody's set. How many games were left in the Great Escape year? Was it 7?
Was it not 9?
9, might have been 9. Yes, you could be right there. So, and we were kind of in a worse position than we are now. Then
and up against a higher quality caliber of teams as well.
Yeah, and I mean, I think Mark Albrighton coming back was one of the reasons, but maybe we've got a player out there that's ready to come back in and do that. So look, it's not out the realms of possibility. And would we have expected anything else as Leicester City fans?
Well, it has been a bit of a roller coaster, hasn't it? I mean, I know that's an old cliche, but one thing you can never accuse our time as Leicester fans is it ever being boring? I suppose at times it's been boring, but the overall it's been up and down like a horse draws, isn't it?
Yeah, and I was talking to, like I say, just before I came on here, I was on a Sheffield Wednesday channel, and it's Dan who does the Talk Sport 2 podcast. Yeah, we get on really, really well. I know, and I said to him, as fans, you've got the respect of all the neutral fans out there for what you've gone through this season. And he was asking, where did it start to go wrong for Leicester? And I said, winning that bloody thing. That was the start of it. Because from then on, it slowly over. And then, things happened obviously after that, but that was where it all started. And as I was telling them about sort of the owners and all, how it's gone wrong for them and what have you, he literally said, every time you said Leicester, you could have Tipex that out and just put Sheffield Wednesday in.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I fear for Sheffield Wednesday next season because I think they could quite feasibly do a double drop. And that would be a shame because, what it was like when I was growing up, you had the semi-finals at Hillsbury. It was just, there was just some, they had some great players. I mean, they never had like a fantastic team, but they were always a Premier League. Well, they were always a First Division team. They had a few good cup runs. I like them. They're a good, honest club, and I've got a bit of an affinity for them, and I do feel dreadfully sorry for them. Having said that, I would, if someone said, do you want to beat them 4-0 or 12-0? I'll say, I want 12-0.
Yeah.
I want 12. I don't care how demoralised they are.
No, you do. As you would expect them, to say about us, sort of thing. If if the roles were reversed, and I do. What's what I'm looking for? No, it's gone. Whatever I was going to say, it has gone. But look, Clibo, thank you very much, sir. Are you going on Saturday?
Am I going on Saturday? Unfortunately,
no, you're not
not.
going anywhere on Saturday, are you? Are you going on Friday? If you go on Saturday, you'll be on your own, won't you?
No, I won't be able to go again this season with the way my back's wrecked. My back and my neck is absolutely wrecked. I wouldn't be able to sit down there. If I jumped up and cheered, that'd be me. So I won't be able to.
The way Leicester score, you won't be doing it that often. But I will wait. For the ranting WhatsApp message if AU starts on Friday.
I will. I'll tell you now. I will be absolutely furious. And I can't remember who said it in the comments, but Rowett had said, it might have been Ben. Rowett had said that we'd got two good number 9s. And I thought to myself, have we? What? You mean in the packs ready to be stuck on a shirt? We haven't got 2 players.
Let me just get this, because I read it differently to that.
Maybe I read it wrong, but I know that's what Rowett said. He said we've got 2... Because what he was saying, he was saying about profile of players.
Yeah.
And he said, we haven't got a 6'5" profile, but we've still got 2 decent number 9s.
Did you hear Rowett say we have 2 good? I choked.
It was Derek, right. Sorry.
Yeah. No, I read that completely differently then. No, sorry, you're right, yeah. But then again, he's not going to necessarily call them out. Well, I wouldn't like him to call them out in public, you know what I mean? But look, as I say, I will await. I sit there when the team's announced, and if I see AU up front, I sit there on my phone going, 10, 9, 8.
Yeah.
It's going to come
I'll be furious. I'll be fucking furious.
You and me both, mate. You and me both. Well, look, it's Easter weekend. Jesus rose again. I don't think if we had a year's supply of Viagra in one night, we could rise again, as in Leicester City, but fingers crossed. On that note, Clibo, thank you very much, sir. As always, it's been a pleasure, and thank you for coming on.
Not a problem.
And we will speak soon, guys. Smash the likes. Click the notification bell, subscribe if you're new, and if you've been listening via your favourite podcast platform, thank you very much for doing that and lending us your ears. We'll be back tomorrow at 8 o'clock. I won't be. Brad will be with the prediction show. Thanks, Clibo, and thank you, everybody else. See you tomorrow night. Good night.
Thanks for watching. These videos are tremendous. You better like them too, or I'll be back.
This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network.
TalkSport. Powered by fans.
That will conclude this evening's entertainment.